Next up, I would love to introduce to you someone who could easily double as a bouncer at tomorrow's event, but thankfully decided to be with us on stage instead. Jacob Bossaer is an amazing entrepreneur who's really trying to make waves of change in the water sector, trying to make water accessible to many, many people who don't currently have access to water. Jacob, please join me on stage.
Thanks. When I was 27, I applied for the adventure of a lifetime. Unfortunately, I got rejected. So I applied for a regular job, only to get years back from the adventure. I got the opportunity to go for 4 months as a water expedition engineer to Antarctica. Did I know something about water? Absolutely not. But I definitely wanted to go to Antarctica and make a difference. My story starts actually when I'm 8 years old. It's a nice picture of me. My mom asked me, what do you want to become when you grow up? And I remember seeing the Walt Disney movie, Sword in the Stone, with Merlin the Wizard that made all that cool stuff. So I said to my mom, full of self-confidence, I want to become an inventor. I already knew then that I wanted to change the world. So the goal was clear. I want to become an inventor, an engineer in modern terms, but the path there too, quite some obstacles. I grew up in a social housing project, so we didn't have a lot. I was the youngest of 7 brothers and sisters. You might not say it, but I had to fight for the leftovers on the table. On top of that, I was not really a bright kid. So I went to high school. They told me that I should go the easy course. But I didn't want to. And that resulted in failure in the 4th grade for mathematics. But already then I had the mindset, failure is not an option. So I pushed through, and I graduated 1 year later. Now, before I continue the story, I want to share a message with you that my parents shared with me. Do good for the world if you're privileged to do so. So when I graduated from high school, I went, like all my brothers and sisters, to a disabled environment. For me, that was Costa Rica, one of the most sustainable places on the planet. And for me, that was a life-changing experience. Because I left a boy, and I came back a man. I learned a new language. I stayed at a host family that I still call today mom, dad, brother, and sister. I got beaten up by the cops, and that's actually a true story. Obviously not my fault. And also saw the inside of the hospital more than I've ever had seen in the 19 years before. But the most important lesson I got from that is I got to know myself. So then I got back. Went to university, doing my big dream, becoming an engineer. But I had to pay for my studies myself. And yet, that's a picture of me being a Balsar for about 5 years when I was studying at university. So I graduated, and the great adventure started. Because in November 2011, I stepped on a plane from Brussels all the way to hot South Africa, summertime, 35 degrees. And there, I took a plane to the Russian station, Novolavretskaya. And from there, 2 hours, another plane to the Belgian station, Princess Elizabeth. So there I was, 10,000 kilometers away from home, not really know what to do. But I knew, I had the same mindset, like I said, failure is not an option. So I pushed through. Worked 18 hours a day, and after 3 weeks, I could present a system that delivered drinking water, and the water was also circularly reused in the station. And that is the roots of the start of Bosaq, the company I run right now. Because if I could do this, provide drinking water and a circular water system on one of the most remote, hostile environments in the world, I could do it anywhere. Now, 2.2 billion people worldwide lack access to clean and safe drinking water. 2.2 billion. That's almost 1 out of 3 on this planet. So I knew I couldn't solve this all by myself. So I needed somebody next to me with more technical brains. I needed money and the location. So the first thing I did, I was called one of my best friends at university. Peter is also present here today. And I asked him if he wanted to join the company. He's today the brains of the company. He told me then, if you can pay me 6 months, I'm in. So that was covered. Then I called the biggest fan of Bosaq, still today. The first investor of Bosaq, my mom. She invested 30,000 euros into the company, and she also put the attic of the little house available. So we had officially the headquarters of Bosaq in Ghent, Belgium, 2017. We faced a lot of challenges. We almost went bankrupt 4 times. And on top of that, water is political. We actually don't sell water. We sell elections. Because we have to deal with politicians and governments. And providing clean and safe drinking water to people is a big political mission of almost all governments that we work with worldwide. Today, we work with 16 people in 4 continents, providing drinking water, decentralized drinking water to the people and impacting lives all over the world. We work with governments in Europe, Africa, and the Americas. We deal with ministers, vice presidents, presidents to get a message across and to create a real impact. We also work on circular water with companies where we use the water of the companies, the dirty water of companies, and recycle it again to reuse it in the system to make sure that they have less, that they can operate more sustainably. I think by now you already get it that Bosaq is a lot more than my company and my job. It's my passion. I feel it's the reason why I've been put on this earth. And a good example of that is that 3 months ago, I was invited to a very fancy event in the city of Paris next to the majestic Eiffel Tower to talk about Bosaq. But at the same time, the war in Ukraine started. And we were already dealing with the federal government to provide clean drinking water there. But obviously, because of the war, the project stopped. But we wanted to do something with Bosaq, with the team. So in a record time, we designed and built 3 drinking water systems. We gathered 50,000 euros from suppliers, clients, and supporters of Bosaq. And instead of taking a comfortable train to Paris, I took my car and drove about 21 hours across Europe to Ukraine to deliver the systems myself. And this is a great stage, obviously, to thank some people for being on the road with me. First of all, my team, also present here today. And I have also a nice premiere. Yesterday, the Ministry Council in Suriname approved a project where we'll be able to provide 20% of the people in the inland with clean drinking water. I also want to thank my family that stood behind me. Thank you. Again, 2.2 billion people worldwide need access to clean and safe drinking water. And if you want to join our journey, you can do so by supporting our non-profit organization, Water Heroes, by talking to companies that want to recycle their water, or by talking to governments that want drinking water for their people. I'm going to leave you with the same message that my parents told me. Do good for the world if you're privileged to do so. Thank you very much.